I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran to a black man's arms.
Girl number 8. Googly-eyed cat, asshole-mouthed girl. Rating, 6.5 out of 10. Date, September 2000. Age, 18. Height, 5 feet 7 inches. Weight, 120 pounds. Hair, blonde and long. Eyes, blue. I'm going to start out telling my sex stories with girl number 8, because this was when I became who I am to this day. I had sex with 7 girls before this one, and I will go back and tell the stories of girls number 1 through 7 at a later time. So let's begin. A few weeks before girl number 7 had left me in the summer of 2000, I started talking to girls online in chat rooms. I didn't get a computer until 1999, so it was new to me. At night when she would go to bed, I would sit in our den and search online for anything fun that didn't include lying in bed with her. That's when I came upon the chat rooms. I can't remember the name of the main one that I used to go to, but it was something like Earth Web Chat. There were a bunch of different rooms located on this site. During that time I had met 2 girls from there, but it vanished soon after. When it went away, I then adopted the MSN chat rooms as my new place to play. By August, it was the end of the line for my long and drawn-out relationship. I wanted it to end and I didn't care how. As I mentioned, right before it ended, I started talking to girls online, and specifically to this girl who lived in Montana. We got along really well. Once the ex-girlfriend left, we started talking on the phone. I was now single and we were calling each other whenever we could. My life had just changed after almost 4 years in a relationship and I didn't know what I wanted. I felt freedom and loneliness, but mostly just freedom because the ex-girlfriend was an idiot. The chat rooms had opened up a whole new avenue to meet women. I could actually sit back in the comfort of my own home or work, and they would come to me. I couldn't believe that I wouldn't have to try as hard this time around to get laid. I had a phone conversation with this new girl for 13 hours straight once. We didn't hang up the whole time. This would be the last moment in my life that I would actually do something as ridiculous as that. It was immediately after this girl, I decided who I was. I was single guy. It was time to have fun and only worry about myself and the people in my life who meant something to me. So she had mailed me a photo and it looked pretty good. That is, as good as a Polaroid picture looks, 10 feet away and out of focus. Yes, I just said mailed me a photo, and I said Polaroid. This was 2000 and before everyone had webcams, laptop cams, cell phones, or digital cameras. She seemed perfect at any rate. She was about to start college and we needed to act fast. I bought her a plane ticket so she could fly out and stay with me for a few days. It was a Friday when I went to the airport to pick her up. I brought her flowers. Did I just say that I brought her flowers? Fuck me. Anyways, so she came down the escalator and we hugged. She was very happy with me. But meanwhile, I was trying to figure out her face. What is that? Damn it. She was supposed to be really hot. Oh well, at least she had an amazing body. From that point on I think I only looked at her from the neck down, unless I was up close enough that her face was blurred. We got into my brand new 2000 Eclipse and dashed down the freeway towards my home. It was late and we both had eaten dinner already. We talked on the way and got along fine. My home was about 45 minutes from the airport. I wasn't a total ass yet at this stage in my life, so I acted nice to her. We arrived at my house and before we even made it through the door we were making out. I pushed her into the house, because I didn't want my nuts bit off by the roaming pit bulls and various other dogs that ran loose throughout the neighborhood. Those damn hicks and their dogs. We went to my room and onto the bed. There was making out and foreplay. I took off her clothes, and she took off mine. She really had a beautiful body and a nice pussy. It was completely shaved. I had only dreamed of having sex with a shaved pussy. I had over 3 years with a girl who had a fucking hairy crotch. I had seen the photos and videos of these shaved girls. I knew what was out there. I had fucked a couple girls that were almost shaved before. But I hadn't had any other pussy since 1996, and this was the year 2000, they had only started to shave it all off. I knew what I had been missing. Her body was perfect, shapely, and tight. I think it was one of the hottest bodies I have ever touched. We were rolling around making out, touching, feeling, and rubbing. I stuck my cock inside her and fucked her a little, then whisked her off to the shower to wash away any smells, objects, or otherwise. We needed to get down to business. Fortunately, she didn't have any dirty or stinky body issues, but you should always try to clean them to be sure. You don't want anything spoiling a nice body. We fucked in the shower, then back to the bed. It was great. This continued into the night. So far, she wasn't annoying and didn't do any weird things. She was the perfect loudness, she liked to fuck, and she liked to fuck me. What more could a boy ask for? Well, I mean, besides knowing what the fuck was wrong with her face. But, I just closed my eyes and concentrated on her body. We stayed in bed and screwed into the afternoon the next day. Later that night, we had reservations at a really nice restaurant. She put on her sundress with no bra or panties, just for me. That's how I like it, folks. Commando. Easy access. Nothing burns the loins more than knowing that a woman doesn't have panties on. I mean, when I'm with the woman, of course. I could give two shits if your girl goes without underwear. Unless you are planning on sacrificing her to me, then you better have shaved the whore too. Anyways, we zoomed down the freeway in my brand new car. The women loved that car. I have my hand inside her cunt, banging her as we drove, and we were doing 90 miles per hour. Then suddenly, there were sirens and lights. I get pulled over. The police officer comes up to my window, and I know that I suck. But, behold, he just gives me a warning and tells me to be careful. I think he must have seen her face and felt sorry for me. He practically placed my hand back up inside her pussy and we drove off. I am unstoppable. We continued to the restaurant at 95 miles per hour. We arrived at the restaurant. While waiting to be seated, we made our way to a bench in the view of everyone. She sat on my lap. After a few minutes, I unzipped my pants and stuck it in. We slowly fucked right there on the bench, but nobody really knew. If they did know, they didn't mind. After that, we were seated at our table and we ate. All I could think of is that I was spending some real money for dinner on a damn girl. After the dinner, we went back home and fucked all night again. Did I mention that her pussy tasted delightful? It was the total package. But, her fucking face. What the hell is wrong with her damn eyes and mouth? Fuck. We woke up the next day and we had plans to go to the county fair. We needed to eat first. But this time I didn't want to spend money on her, so we stopped at Jack in the Box. As I went to order the food, I looked back at this girl. I really needed to figure this out. She had the body of bodies, an awesome personality, and was already dedicated to me. She had the big blue eyes like I wanted. But the problem was that they were big googly eyes. I didn't want to date a Muppet. Go watch the Hugh Grant film, Notting Hill. Look at his sister in the film. That is what her eyes looked like. When I think back to this girl all of these years later, I can only see that actress. And back then I couldn't have that. There is nothing you can do with that and still retain your shallow manhood. And last but not least, the mouth. What the fuck is wrong with her mouth? I have cats. I have always had cats my whole life. Though I have never purposely looked at a cat's asshole, I do know what they look like. She had a mouth in the design of a cat's asshole, complete with wrinkles. And she had braces. The braces would be gone soon, so no big deal. But unless the orthodontist is taking her mouth too, I could not have this. I just couldn't. We ate and then went to the fair. I won her some stuffed animals, we rode on rides, and we did whatever else you do at a fair. Then I made my decision. I figured it out. We drove home. I became silent boy who doesn't want her anymore. We didn't fuck that night. I didn't touch her. I took her to the airport the next day. She knew what was going on without me having to say anything. We said a quick goodbye and I left her standing there. She called when she got home and I ignored the call. She called every day and I ignored her calls. A few days later I called her and told her that I needed to be single and start a new life. This new life of sex and debauchery. And I wasn't ready to jump back into anything. She cried and was very disappointed. She already had us married in her mind. I called her a few weeks later to see how she was, and to make sure there were no pregnancies or anything of that sort. When I'm done with a girl, I will always check a few weeks later to make sure they had their period, so I'm off the hook. She didn't really want to talk to me, because I had hurt her. I did talk to her a few years later through email. She was married, pregnant, and her husband didn't want her talking to me. I had done my job. Right after the making sure she was not pregnant phone call, I decided I would stop feeling anything for women and be a man. And with the theme of Superman steadily growing in my head, I bitch smacked myself in the face, reattached my balls, and put on my imaginary superhero outfit, thus beginning the second stage of my new sex life, which would include numerous exploits of fucking women online and abroad. Thanks for watching and listening, you magnificent bastards. Please subscribe to my channel and click on notifications. You will be watching and hearing each one of my sex stories, so you won't want to miss any. In the future the stories will become animated and not as basic. When that happens, each story will be redone and posted in order. But for now, please enjoy.
Yeah, give it away. Yeah, give it away. My neighbor got big testicles, cause we see this dude every day.